Hello, goddesses, gods, creators, elementals. I am Ra-N-Ell, and you on the Galactic Geometry Show, and you're stepping into the eye of Ra. First of all, I want to introduce myself a little bit, explain to who I am and what I'm going to be sharing today. I don't profess to be the author of all stories, all histories, and all mysteries. I know what I know. I know what the Mother Spirit shows me, breaks down for me, and helps me to understand. So you're going to learn some galactic geometry through my eyes, through the eyes of Ra. Now, why do I call myself Ra? Let's start off. And while we break down names, in my name, we're going to start learning some geometry. And the reason why we want to learn geometry, and we want to learn galactic geometry, is because geometry is just one level, one understanding of energy. And I don't have to explain to everybody that you are energy. You understand you are energy. Most don't understand what level of energy and how the energy flows, how the energy works, and how you can use the energy for your benefit. So this presentation ain't for everybody. It's a little advanced. It really is. But at the same time, I'm going to make it simple. And this lesson ain't for people who don't resonate with the message. If it don't resonate with you, take what resonates with you and leave the rest. Lessons unfold over time. Some of these things that I'm sharing, as I'm sharing new ideas and unfoldings happen as people ask me questions sometimes. New ideas, the unfoldment of an idea continues to unravel itself. So let's get started. Now, what I want to talk about today is galactic geometry. However, in order to understand galactic geometry, we have to understand. I don't like to say the word understand, but I'm getting out of the habit of saying it. I'm more akin to saying understand now. I was in a phase of understanding, but now I'm understanding. So just follow me. In order to understand geometry, one must understand dark matter. A lot of people don't even know what dark matter is, but look it up on Google, look it up in any search engine, and you will start to correlate what dark matter is. Now, here on a mundane, on a flesh or humanistic level, we like to refer to dark matter as melanin. That's probably one of the most closest substances that is close to dark matter, because dark matter is a synthesis. Melanin is a synthesis of dark matter. It is a abstract of it, but it's not pure dark matter. Pure dark matter is what your soul is. Pure dark matter is the essence, the center point of consciousness. So let us start. And I'm going to start by just explaining why I call myself Ra-N-Ell. Okay, Ra. What is Ra? Let's write it. Ra. Sometimes, we can say Ra with an H, but we're just going to say Ra and spell it this way. Now, Ra, when you see the sign of Ra, you saw a circle with a dot. When you see Ra in hieroglyphs, and you see that, because at one point Ra was a name in ancient time, an ancient god, an ancient creator being, that you heard this name shouted out since the beginning memorial, as they say. So, Ra, my mother, or I whispered in my mother's ears, as Bobby Hemmett would say, the name or the surname Ra-N-Ell. Now, Ra-N-Ell, as you see, starts off with Ra. What is Ra? Ra is radius. Radius. Radius is what? The center. The distance from the edge of a circle or a sphere, not necessarily a circle, but a sphere. It is the distance from the edge of a sphere to the center. Now, why is that important? Why is radius important? Why is Ra associated with radius? Because within this sphere, let me get out of saying a circle. Because first of all, a circle is basically a two-dimension, is a 2D object. It's flat. A sphere, or you can have a orbital, is another word, scientific word that you'll find. A sphere has infinite directions in which it expands, and it has a center, or a nucleus, or a neutral point, or a 0 point. Now, this 0 point is a black dot. This is the whole concept of a black dot. But the black dot ain't just no marker on the board. The black dot is potential, infinite potential. If you look within that black dot and you stare in it, it could go on forever. You don't know where that stops. Once you look into it, it is a black hole. It is a black dot of what? Dark matter. Okay? So now you have people running around being mistaught, miseducated about our own science. We know where this ions or science come from. I like to call it ions, not science. Ions. Ions, ionic bonding, molecular biology, cosmic biology, the biology of the womb of man, woman. Okay? So now, this circle is a flat object. If you want to say it has 360 degrees, but this sphere is not a flat object. A sphere is something that something would stand in the center of, and it would have something encasing it all around it. So if you want to give it a number, you're going to have to at least give it 720 degrees. Could never be 360 degrees. It can only be 360 degrees if you take the diameter in something called a man or woman. If you want to draw that, a stick man. Now, if he's standing on a flat plane, or she's standing on a flat plane, and he or she is looking up, yeah, you have 360 degrees. But understand that you are not a flat being. You are a spherical being. That's why you are said to have a spirit. A spirit is a vehicle that a Merkaba, a dimensional presence that you have. Under you, above you, to the right of you, to the left of you, diagonal right, diagonal left, all these different infinite directions. If you stand in the center of this, to whereas these are your legs, your arm, and then your head, now you're standing in the center of a sphere. Now I know I kind of got that a little off a little bit. It's kind of a little crooked, but don't mind my drawing. But you get my point. This is 720 degrees in a spherical orbital. Okay? And Ra is half the distance from the edge to the sphere. Okay? So now when you start to deal with Ra, and you start to get into Ra squared, radius squared, you have the what? Diameter. We just go short with DIA, diameter. Dissect, pi. Cut it up in a pie. Cut this thing up in a pie. Now, does that look? Now, is that starting to look a little familiar? Okay. Now we're starting to deal with a 6-pointed star or Merkaba. So as it appears to have 6 points. But in all actuality, we know that you're not dealing with a flat surface. So why am I saying all of this? I'm going to keep going with the name. Because I'm going to show you how to break your name. I'm going to show you how to break your own name down so that you can start understanding the elements or the nature, name. You got name, nature. I'm not a great speller, but I'm going to do my best. So your name shows a nature or a quality or a molecular bonding or ionic bonding of yourself. So within your names is the master key and the secret to you, self. Know thyself. So I'm going to teach you how to unravel your own mystery. My story. I don't want to hear his story or her story. That's history. Our story is a mystery. My story is a mystery. So alchemically, I can unravel my mystery starting with my name. So Ra, we know Ra is radius. Now, for some, they're like, oh, we're getting scientific. We ain't even talking nothing spiritual. Yes, you are. Don't you say you had a spirit? So you need to know how the spirit works. What is the vehicle? How to turn this thing on? How to push the gas? How to turn it? The spirit body, the soul, how to awaken it. It's going to start off with your name. Because you see in the scripture, it says that Allah, or it says that God named all things. He taught Adam the names of things. Okay, now you're dealing with something that's calling itself God. Generator, operator, destroyer. That's a title. That ain't the highest title. That's really, that's a low title. A God is just somebody who just has awakened to the God body, the God head, the God feet, the God legs, the core. The core, when you're getting into the core, now you're dealing with the whore, or the horse, or the Horus, or the Taurus, or torsion, movement, power from the hips, the core. The core is the great whore. Take you away from the goddess power, which is your core, which is in here, because this is where the God seat is. It ain't here. And I'm going to prove to you it ain't here. That your third eye is telling you a lie. Because the third eye is the splitter of the frequency. You got two eyes bringing in light. Taking it to a pineal gland, which if you're not in control of it, someone else can use frequency modulation and come in control of your pineal gland and have you thinking you're seeing certain things, living certain realities that you're not. It's called frequency modulation, FM. You use it every day. You listen to the radio, don't you? How do you think you got 13,000 radio stations existing in the same airspace, and all it takes is a change of frequency to pick it up, and you can hear it? You have to be a multi-dimensional being to be able to do that. You have to have a splitter of frequencies to be able to pick up these different harmonies, these different octaves, these different keys, these different notes, these different elements. So let's move on to the next part. Here's N. N. What does that look like? A sine wave. Sine. What is a sine wave? A sine wave is when you're taking that black dot and you use what's called imaging or mirroring. I want to make an exact copy of that. I don't want to lose nothing. Even though it ain't the original, it's going to have all of the same qualities of the original. You would not be able to tell the difference. The only difference it is no different than imaging a hard drive in a computer. Once I image that hard drive, it's going to have all the same information, all the same operating system. I can make it bootable. It will boot up. It will start up my computer. The only difference it will have, it might have one digit at the end that's different to identify that it is something that has been mirrored or imaged. Okay, so when I image this black dot, so over here, now I've created a binary, two binary elements. And since they come from the same source, they already have mama.
Oh.
They already have magnetism, mama. Magnesium. Somebody had a question? Okay, let me keep on with this, and I'm gonna break this down.
Yeah, I put them on mute. As people come in, I might have to put them on mute. But if anybody has a question, just wait till he gets done with this segment, and then he'll answer whatever questions. That's all I had to say. You just press *6 if you're on the phone, or unmute yourself if you're on the computer. Peace and love.
Peace and love. So now, once I duplicate or image that black dot, remember I told you black dot. This black dot is infinite potential. Think about oil that's leaked on the ground from your car. Once water hits that oil, what comes out of it? A rainbow. The separation of the things or the elements that was within the oil. Because that oil is melanin. It is refined from the black substance. Oil is like a natural melanin. Some of the oil that's coming out of the ground, that's a natural fluid of Mother Earth, Mama Earth. That's her melanin. So if you image that, within that has infinite energy in all forms. Why does it have infinite energy in all forms? Because within melanin, within that black dot, within that dark matter is microorganisms. Microscopic, you would have to, some of these beings, you would take electron microscopes and microscopes way stronger than that to even get to the dimensions or the layers within layers, within layers, within layers, within layers of creation, within this melanin. Within this melanin, there are beings, microscopic beings like ants. Like here, if you want to have something to compare it to, like ants, bees. Ants, what do? They burrow through the earth, create portals, create holes, so that gas, oxygen, can come into the surface of the earth. And things can grow out of it. Well, the same thing happens with melanin. You have millions, quadrillions, however many, infinite amount of different beings that know their nature. They're not confused. They have a queen, a matriarch, just like ants. And they do their thing. You can't stop them. You can't control them. You can't tell them what to do. You can't program them. The Dogons call them, as the white man say, the Dogons call them the Nomo. They're not named Nomo. The name is Nano. Organic Nano. nanotechnology. So within the melanin or microorganisms, you would call them gods. Because they way more superior of a God than any one of you, me, or any one of us could ever be. Why? I ain't got to think to breathe. I ain't got to think for all these millions, quadrillions of processes, electromagnetic, electric, all this gas, all these things that's going on throughout this temple, this vessel. I ain't got to think to do that. Nano doing it. The gods are doing it. The gods within you, under your skin, and on your skin. That's called the underworld. You ain't got to go inside of earth to get to no underworld. You have the underworld in you, under your skin. That is the micro world. Let's keep going with the lesson. So now when I take this right here, these two dots, and I image again, create another one and set it right there. When I'm creating a triangle, I'm creating a triune. I'm creating movement. Image another one right here. Movement. Image another one right here. Movement. Another one right here. Movement. Now I'm walking. Now I'm walking. Okay? This is, but know that in existence, in this existence, in the 3D existence, there are no straight lines. Straight lines are illusions. We see in mama's nature, everything has curves. So now, when someone draws this like that, no, it's not really drawn like that. It's curves. The sine wave, or the 9. Sine equals 9. Or the movement or spiraling down of energy. Creating well, I probably drew it backwards. Probably be more like that. See those 9s? Erase that one. 9, 9, 9. Spiraling downwards. Okay? Then, if you go 6, now you go in the opposite direction. Let me draw this correctly. There you go. Now, if you look at that, it's spiraling upwards. That's 6. You put them together, you have the helix, the double helix of your DNA. And you also have the spine. So the sine equals the 9 equals the spine, the divine mind, the cosmic mind, the spine. Not this mind. This is a small orbital. Small orbital. Look at the core. The core has a rib cage. It's orbital in nature. It's spherical. That's a much larger spherical than this one. Then all the spheres on your body creates an orbital. Your elbow. That's an orbital. That's a planet. That's a world. That's a galaxy. Every orbital. On the bottoms of your feet, your kneecaps. These are orbitals. But the biggest one that you have is in your core. In your core is where the horses, or the Horus, the mother goddess. That's where she lies, the center, the motherboard, the core. Not here. The mind, not the mind. That's not, the mind is the sun. That's the son of the goddess. So if I get you in your mind, your small mind, let's erase some of this. We're still dealing with the 9 or the spine. Because people get confused. You got that orbital. You're calling that the mind, your head. The head is lead. Lead dead. It's slow. It's a slow processor. You got to calculate. You got to use memory. And only until you do things through repetition, till you get out of the mind, to where the muscle memory kicks in, then you into flow. Now you into God flow, God current. Because why? The mind has gotten out the way. No different than playing basketball. If I sit there and think about the shot that I'm going to shoot, I'm going to miss it every time. It's only until I probably get mad, I get fluent, I don't care, and that they call it going in the zone. Kobe Bryant, 81. 9. Okay? But in order to go 9, you got to get down here to the core. Because the core got more horsepower. Got more horses. That's mom. That's the motherboard. That's the mother. That's where your God with a black dot. Your most powerful being is in the core. It's the seed, the kernel. The seed. So that's why when you got this jibber jabber, they trying to get you, it's just corrupt your kernel, your core. So now you got your feet down here, you got 2 orbitals down here. Those work together in an orbit. But this one right here, that's mama. That's the big one. That's the Milky. That's the center of the galaxy. That's the Milky Way, the center of it, the grand central sun. But the grand central sun outside of yourself in your celestial being or higher plane of existence, yeah, you can look out into the stars, but when you look at land or the body or the more, what more means land also, you got to deal with inside of yourself. Now, inside of yourself, you have a sun or a dark sun, but it ain't really a sun. It's mama, it's her, it's the goddess, it's the highest power there is. The neutral, the negative, the double negative, the triple negative, the chrome, the triple goddess, the triune, and I'm going to show you why in a second. And I'm going to show you on a microbiology level, the underworld, and I can show you the celestial, as well I can show you just plain matter. Most people know about this mundane matter thing. You got from the Dr. Blaze to the Valentine to the Hemage to everybody to scientists can explain basic matter. I'm trying to show you something that you ain't reading no book, because I am law. Here we go. So now we're dealing with the sine wave, or the 9, or the real divine mind. That thing, them 33 vertebrae that they want to talk about. And then the 7 down here, the more 7 more, and goes into the coccyx. 7 more vertebrae. Now, the sine wave, we'll get back to the sine wave, or the cosmic mind, or the true conductor. But before I do that, let's get to L. Because within L, that's where you're going to find a true lesson for real. And why a lot of us are L's. Or elves. Elves. L. Dark night. Okay. Let's get into it. What is the science of L? L. L. when you get into the science of L, the first thing you have to understand is the center point, because all things start from the center, right here. The science of L is that when you mirror L, you mirror it, now you got another L. Now the L, this off to the side, when you go all the way down, it's going to turn into the science of the right triangle. The science of a right triangle. Remember that. I'm saying right tri. I'm running out of space. So it's a right triangle, or what they call I can't say the word that good. A hyperboloid or whatever. It's one of the mathematical terms for what this L is going to really be and what it really stands for. But it's a 90 degrees, a 90-degree turn, a right triangle. So now, in order to understand where I'm about to take you, because now we're about to get to something, this right here is going to be very, very important that you understand the science of L. Because I'm going to teach you the science of L, and I'm going to teach you the true science of the chakra system. Because you only been getting half of it. Everything on this planet, they only gave you half, and they inverted the other half. And I'm going to teach you about an inversion. Most people should know what inversions is. If you play music, you know, you got 3 same notes, you can switch the order of the notes. Same 3 notes, but it's going to sound different. That's an inversion. In math, we use inversions. We use inversions in what they call the order of operation. What is math? Math is my art. It is the science or the ionic breaking or bonding of an equation, solving for an unknown, balance, the scales, my art. So let's keep going. So now if I take this L and then I mirror it again, remember the concept of mirroring. I'm about to teach it to you right now, because it is the quintessential to magic, magnetics, energy, electricity, math, anything. Mirroring equals magic equals manipulation. And so if you're getting manipulated or something is moving and you can't discern what the source is, that seems godlike to a person. But to everything that is unknown, there's a rule that exists that's just not known to you. But that don't mean that there's not a rule to it. So let us keep going. So now if I take this other L right here and I mirror it, here we go. Now I got 4 L's or 4 right triangles, which is this. Okay? What did I just create? The Holy Cross or the plus sign. That's what I just created. I created a highway, a cross. Okay? Now, that's cool. Now we know if we take this and we turn this L or this square, because now what I just created by mirroring an L or right triangle 4 times, I just created a cross. Bad boy. They've been controlling this planet with this technology called this cross. For a minute, it's over. Time for it to stop. How do you stop it? You have to center stand it before you can inverse it or reverse the operation or the order of operation to get out of it. Because what we just created, a cube. We just created a cube. We take this and we turn this right here, boom, 45 degrees. We turn this cube 45 degrees, we're going to get a square. Now, if I take a compass and I sit it in the center, and I go around, now we just circled the square. Now you get into Masonic building. You get into geometry. Why is this important? You ask me. Besides building buildings and industry and stuff we keep complaining about all the time. It's important because this right here is dead. That's dead. That is lead. That leads you nowhere. Why? Because this right here, what I'm calling lead, or this squared, this circle, this squared circle, because now I just created directions. North, east, south, west. That's your highway system, that's your grid, that's everything. But I just said that this is dead. Why did I say this is dead? Because these directions are out of alignment with the magnetic grid of the cosmos, of the universe, of the Milky Way, of the multiverse, of all the galaxies, of the whole cosmos. Is turned 90 degrees or 45 degrees. Sometimes they turn it to 90 degrees or 180 degrees, but it's not in alignment with how energy flows. How does energy flow? Energy flows like this, like an X. If we take that whole object, I'm sorry I didn't draw that right on the center, but if we would have took that object and we would have turned this line and had this highway face this way, like this, let me draw it. If we would have took that same object and turned it and had it where the highway was like this, okay, that's the same exact thing. Here go your right triangles. Now I know I didn't draw that to scale. But here's your X. Marks the spot. We see that sometimes on that Confederate flag. We see this turned this way in a whole lot of different objects. What else does that look like? A piece of mail. If you look at it from top to bottom, it looks like a pyramid. Okay? And you just have the sides, the different planes of the pyramid. Now, why is this important, this X versus this cross? I'm going to turn this camera a little bit. I'm going to see this, one of the drawings, one of the posters that I have on the wall. If you can see this poster, I know it's a little turned to the side, but this is a cosmic, basically you say a cosmic clock, because what it's doing is showing you the ley lines or the jet stream. Let's say, well, that's a better line, that's a better explanation. It's showing you the jet stream of the cosmos. It's showing you how the cosmic air or how the dark matter moves. It moves the same way as above, so below. So it moves the same way as if the jet stream in our sky. The jet stream in our sky, depending on what plane or how up you are, they already know what way the wind going to blow. The air, what way it's going to blow, just by studying it. So just ancient knowledge, cosmic knowledge, it's been known for billions and not trillions of years. We know the cosmic highways. So now what I'm about to show you is, watch this. When you look at this poster and you look at this Merkaba, you look at this spirit body, it is a guide, it's a clock, it is a compass. what it's showing you is how energy really flows, how energy is created, how it's destroyed, how it operates. It's showing you how to be God. Okay? Boom. Right here, going into the X. If you see, you look at this poster, going to the X, you see this right here? This is showing you the winds, the cosmic ocean. If you was in a ship, a spaceship, you want to get right here and ride that. You can ride that wave and go straight, or you can ride that wave and go out this way. You can ride that wave, you can come back up that way. You can ride that wave and go that like that. But you notice on this poster, you got these right here, like angels. Now you'll be thinking, hell, they got them in the direction of the cross. That's where I need to go. No, them ain't no damn angels. Them seraphim, them guardians, them collectors, them tax collectors. Them who going to cipher the energy, because what happens is, and I'm about to draw this, what happens into what is called how a Taurus feels, or the apple, or the golden mean, how energy expresses itself, how light is created as a reflection of dark matter. I'm going to show you that the energy going like this, coming like this, is what's creating combustion. Up and down, like a piston in a car. Movement. Power. Power. But going up, out, this way, straight down, there is no power. Why? Because of these forces. These forces are the forces that's going to stop you from ascending, stop you from feeling good, stop your energy from flowing, stop anything from coming to you, because all this thing doing right here is sucking your damn energy. These are them archons you be hearing about. The guard and the seraphim. When people see the light and they go towards the light, and then after they transition, they go toward the light, next thing you know, they're in jail again. Getting sent back through the cycle to reincarnate with no memories. Like a credit card going across a magnet. Wipe you clean. How can that happen? Because this is a vessel. This is an organic machine. This is not you. You are dark matter. You are consciousness. Now let me show you something. Right now, tonight. Now, that's the concept of L, or the concept of the square, the concept of the circle and the square. Okay? But now, if you go out tonight, now that thing can trick you. Because you think you know something. You don't. Because why? You're reading books. And there's too many of them, and it's not in your language. Because you never wrote. Why you didn't write? You keep saying, ha, 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 I'm so smart, my people built this and they wrote this, and your people didn't fucking write. Why? They didn't write on no paper, because that's a spell. Anytime you take one substance, one thing, you break it apart, you take its elements apart, and you turn right back and take them same elements and put them back together, it's an explosion. Chaotic energy. It's called an atom explosion. So when you got a tree, and you take the tree and you create papal or papyrus or paper from the pulse or the bread of the tree, and then you take and extract the wine or the ink out the tree, and you put the bread and the wine or the ink and the paper back together, it ain't no different from taking my blood and my plasma and splitting and putting it back together, it's going to boom. That's what happens when we write on paper. That's why they call it spelling or spell. I don't give a fuck how you write it. It's going to have a chemical, spiritual, and physical reaction. There's a binding. Because what they're going to do when you create paper, you're going to create the X. You can have all these strings of fiber going this way. Remember, paper, money, all that is fiber. It's really cloth made from the tree. Then you go the opposite direction. Now you just created all of these X's, these energy, how energy flows, an energy grid that can be mapped, controlled, energy flowed through, sitting in different directions, like a joystick, a computer screen, your phone screen, the dome around us. Why? Because I can do this with crystal. It's called a crystal LED. I'm looking at one right now on my iPad. So I'm showing you the science of the ions, and I'm going to go break this down, what this cross is doing. Here we go. Or this X, or this crossroads, as people like to say in their poetry, or their Shakespearean babble. We're going to break this babble shit down. Because we create gods. We ain't gods. We come out of the dark matter itself. Elementals, L's. Before there was matter, there was gas. Gas being hydrogen, the first primal element, I. That's where the letter I comes from. Hydrogen. See, most people don't know nothing. They think they do. A galaxy, existence. If you want to draw it out, you can draw it like this, like a head with a mouth open. Okay? This is dark matter. All of this shit. It makes up 98% of all that is known. And unknown. 98%. And out the mouth of dark matter is existence. It's existence coming out of dark matter. Now there's all what we call an existence: light, gas, solid, matter. Only makes up 2%. And out of that 2%, it's 2 degrees. Sorry. Out of that 2%, 1.4 is gas. That's like hydrogen and helium being primary. Hydrogen, the first L or elemental to exist, makes up 1.4 of all things that exist. Gas. Much more powerful, much more subtle energy than electricity or magnetism. Much more subtle, much more powerful. Now, I ain't going to say magnetism, I'm going to say electricity, excuse me for that. But it's much more subtle, much more powerful than anything that you can think that's matter. Hydrogen. This is what you breathing to keep you alive. Why are you breathing hydrogen to keep you alive? H2O. Or air. What is air? Air is ether. It's a being. It's an energy. It contains hydrogen. Almost predominantly hydrogen. So you are a hydrogen being, or an I, or an H, because if you turn that I to the side, you turn it 90 degrees, Then you have an H. H-I, high, hydrogen. I. So the primal essence of what you are inside of you is hydrogen. Before you was carbon. So the beings on this planet calling themselves 666 is mistaken. No, you're hydrocarbon. Hydrogen fused with carbon. This is what they make energy out of. Look it up. Butane, all of these carbon, all of these things that we use every day to power everything on this planet is a hydrocarbon. It's not a carbon, it's a hydrocarbon. You're going to find the symbols of 5-star man, 6-star man, 7-star man, 8-star man, 9-star man, and hydrocarbon. Okay, so now let's get back to the lesson, because from the I, this is where Selassie I and I come from. That's why they bowed down to him. That's how they knew he was an emperor or a celestial emperor, being of high authority. By his name, his title. I and I. He showed you I'm a being of hydrogen. I'm an L. I'm an elemental. I'm something of gas. I can disappear. I can shapeshift. I can change forms. I can inhabit solid matter and inflate it. Keep it inflated like you are. You lose pressure of hydrogen. Somebody stab you. It ain't going to be the damn blood that kill you looking out. It's the air. Cut the air off for 30 seconds to see what happens. You're going to start opening up your mouth trying to get some, because you want some high. You want some hydrogen. You want to get high. Okay? So now let's keep moving. Now, out of that, that's 2%. If hydrogen of gas, helium, is 1.4, that only leaves a 0.6. 0.6% out of 100 of what we call in matter. Now, what is that? Why does that matter? It shows you that this carbon everybody want to brag about so much, or any other thing, other than other solids on the periodic table, ain't really shit. It ain't got no power. The power is right here, the dark matter. 98% expanding. Faster than the speed of light, faster than existence. So what's going to happen? A new reality, because what's happening is this dark matter is spreading and it's eating up all what we call existence, the light. What is light? Light ain't nothing but water reflecting off of dark matter. So the first beings that rose up in the multiverse were the beings that rose up out of the dark matter itself. Hydrogen beings, L's, dark L's, you, me. And the sister was the celestial existence. But at the same time, at the same time that your celestial start is happening, guess what? Mama working in all directions simultaneously. You have this micro existence going on too that you call the underworld. Sperm. Micro substances. You might call them aminos. You might call them this. You might call them that. They got 100,000 scientific names. But what are they really? Nano. Organic nano. So now, what are we seeing what's happening right now? What we're seeing what's happening is a competition. It's a race. A race for what? It's a race. A race for what? Well, you see that there's a group that's out there that's just as advanced as you. Almost. But they working from the opposite end of existence. Why? They scared of nano. They scared of the dark matter. Because why? They found ways to create other energies. They found a way around this. It's called hybridization. We talked about imaging. We talked about mirroring. We ain't talking about cloning. I can clone something almost to the same specs as the original, but it ain't the original. But I can make it so close to the original, I can fool the average looker. So what have they made? Melatonin. What is melatonin? A hybrid or synthesized version of melanin. Nano, inorganic, cloned as nanotechnology. So they've created hybridizations of everything. Snuck on the planet and started giving it to us. And what does that do? Corrupt the kernel. Feed CPU, the motherboard. DNA. If I corrupt the kernel, if I corrupt your seed, if I corrupt your stargate, and with your souls, of your family group, of your soul group, if I corrupt your stargate, I won the war. Because why? Everything that exists is happening in simultaneity, simultaneously. The present, the past, and the future are working towards yourself to create the present. This is the triune. All this stuff is working together. To create the now. So your past experiences, your past lives, and your future lives, all of that stuff is happening right now. When you start getting past those governors that I told you, those archons, by understanding stillness, not vibration. Yeah, vibration is an important principle in the universe, multiverse, but it ain't number one. So all that 7 principles of Hermes, they giving you half. They're giving you half. Everything starts from the center. It don't start from no one. Let's go with that. We're not dealing with flat. We're not dealing with Ouroboros. We're not dealing with a circle and something eating his own tail. Those are tricks of the mind. Those are Jedi tricks. You're multidimensional beings. You operate in the center. You don't stay on the circle of anything. Staying on the circle of anything causes what? Redundancy. Going around the circle, doing the same shit over and over, getting the same result. That's a short circuit. That's something eating of itself, being turned against itself, causing what? Dissonance, heat, vibration. chaos. You can't operate like that. But when you get off the scale, get off the circle, get off of the zodiac and stand in the center of existence, the black dot, now you can reach anywhere you want to and grab what you need and then come back to center of yourself. Always knowing that you have a core existence, the soul, the seeds, the kernel. And it's deep inside of you, so it can't really truly be corrupted. When we create in layers from the center, from the seed. Look at anything you eat that's in nature. It starts as a seed and it sprouts outward. It don't go from the top head and come down. Don't do nothing. Don't do that with shit. Food. Waste. But when you operate from the core, from the center, you learn how to stop being right or white or right, which all equals a spell. Because the concept of right, what is right? Right is a direction. Oh, I'm right. I know I'm right. You're right. Hold on. Only thing that wants to be right and go in one direction is a fool. Because I'm going to show you what right is. You ain't black. You got dimensions to you. So now what is right? Right is a legal term. It's dealing with what? A cube, a square. Now, you can't stand on the edge of this square. No, you're a center being. You're a spherical being. You have a soul, a seed, a kernel, a mortar, a core. So that's the center. Let's say, for instance, hold on. Let me get more center so you can see what I'm talking about. Here's the center. Okay? The black dot. Now you want to be right. So go right. There you go. Where do you end up? Right in the fucking corner. Here go your right hand, go right here. So every time somebody tells you to go right, that's a spell. Dummies, that's a spell to get you in the right corner of thinking, of existence. You can't get out of that. That's a trap. That's a prism or prison. Prism, same thing. You want to be liked, I'll put you in a prism or prison. Send you right. You can be right all day. And I'm going to get you to write. Keep on writing these contracts. Keep writing. I love when you're right. Just pick a side. I don't care. You want to go left? Go left. Here go your left triangle. I'm going to send you right and wet. What did I just send you? Pandora's box. There goes your goddamn mail right there. There goes your mailbox right on your house. Pandora's box, the magic box. There go the mail. I folded you up with the spell. I'm going to put U.S. whoever or whatever corporation I want to put on here. I'm going to call it so nobody get offended. I'm going to make up a name. Z-He. P.O. Box 360 F.U. USA. And I'm going to put your dumb name on here, dummy. And then I'm going to send it right to your mailbox. Now, I already told you that ink and paper together creates an explosion. And not good. A short circuit is what's really called. No different than taking the hot and the neutral. They come from the same source. They just split it. Split the signal. Put it back together. So if you don't have a load in between called a light bulb, it's going to explode. Boom. So who do you think is a light bulb? The dummy calling himself a human being. You're not a human being. Human means monster. Look it up in the law library. Look it up in the dictionary. It tells you that human means monster. It tells you that black means pale. Or what you think is white. White has a totally different meaning. Why? Because I'm ciphering words. I'm using prefixes and suffixes that are of totally different language, and I invert them, turn them around. Like la, and ow, or ill, illegal, not legal. Where do you think ill comes from? Like you say, ill the law. Accept or no. That's Arabic. Why are you taking Arabic words, put them in front of an English root, and then putting a Latin suffix on it? Magic, spell, conjuring. And I'm going to contract you to it because I just created Pandora's box. I just created the mailbox. I just created the mail. I just created a casket. And put your name on it in all caps, not in the gear. It's a dead man, dead woman. And guess what you do? You put it on your, right out there on your house or in front of your yard. You go right, pick it up. You opened it. You just contracted. Now you owe me. But if you would have left it out there and didn't touch it, contract don't exist. So all language is spells. All of it. That's why we didn't use to speak. We used telepathy. Because we knew this. Okay? So now, let's keep going. So now, this is going right. Now, we're going to take it a little step further just to show you how you keep getting tricked. By this right here. Pyramid. We love to brag. We built the pyramids. We did this and we did that. Y'all didn't ever think about why you got a chakra system? And you call it the root? The coccyx? I spell that coccyx. This is good. You know what I'm saying? Coccyx, the coccyx bone, the tailbone. Now you calling this the root chakra. That's the root chakra. When you got a whole nother pyramid up underneath. What in the world you think holding this big ass pyramid up? If it ain't mirrored underneath. We know it's mirrored underneath. We know it's mirrored underneath from a tree. We ain't that slow. We know that a tree is just as much roots under the ground as it is on top. So why in the hell would anybody accept the teaching? I'm coming, she said. That's my cat. My kid. Why would anybody accept the teaching? This is a woman. I'm coming, sir. I'm coming. I'm coming. Okay. This is a woman. Okay. Don't worry about the drawing. So now we calling right here. We calling this the root. Okay. Hold on. Let's catch our kneecaps. Catch our feet. It's very important. I know I got a midget. I know she ain't up to scale. I'm sorry. I'm coming, she said. I'm doing something. Okay. Now we calling this the root. This plane right here. Did nobody ever think it's strange that this is a root of something? And you got thighs, knees, ankles, and feet. And you telling me there ain't no technology in that right there? It ain't no chakras down here? That didn't seem strange to nobody? Because it's a fucking lie. This is the 0 point. The number's going to start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And they're going to mirror the same way down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I can prove it. With the zodiac and with the stars and with the Milky Way. Because the woman body is matched exactly to what's above you. And this right here, the center point, the 0 point, right here, the 0 plane, is your equal sign. That's Mayat. Or, if you want to think about it from a zodiac sign, that's Libra, or the scales. But that right there, that's the center, that's 0. That's equal potential. The balance. The winged goddess. She can fly any way she wants. Bank left, bank right. Like a joystick. She ain't going right. Just right. Ain't that right? You see the trick? Everything that's supposed to signify good is going right. Right is a linear scale. Right. If you have an XY axis, and you got numbers 2, 3, 4, 5 to infinity, -1, -2, -3 to infinity, and then you're going 1, 2, 3, 4 up. You're going -1, -2, -3, -4 downward. If you're going right, you're just going one direction. That's linear thinking. It ain't nothing linear. Everything has happened simultaneously from all different directions. Can't you look around and see? Underneath you, at your shoulder, behind you. Can't you do that? By a little bit of movement? Yeah, because all of these are chakras. And they're mirrored. This is chakra 1 up in here, and chakra 1 is down here. This is the 0 point, the black dot, the core. So now when you start getting up in here into your sixth chakra, this is a 12 fucking planet system, so you're going to have a 12 chakra system. 12. With 0 being in the middle, being the equal sign, equal potential. That's where the goddess lives. That's the black dot. Not up here in your damn head. The third eye. Yeah, the third eye will lie. Because the third eye is where the eyes, all your orifices. You got your ears getting sound. You got your nose getting smell. You got your mouth getting taste. You got your head thinking. All of your energy is right up here in this one orifice. What about the rest of the damn body? And the gods and goddesses and technology and the thousands and millions of microorganisms that's working, they got their own intelligence of their own. My hand is moving, but I ain't got to think to do that. So I'm going to wrap it up with that. And we'll keep unfolding and unfolding because I can go on for hours. Hours. And not even get exhausted. So anybody got any questions about anything? Hello? Hello? So, let me see. See if anybody got any questions. If there's no questions, then we're going to end it with this, and maybe we'll come back if somebody got some questions.
Hold on one second. We definitely have a question. I was just speaking to one of the participants. I couldn't hear you for a minute, but they could. Let me see. MC, do you want to unmute yourself? Hold on one second. I don't know what phone number. I'll try to see if I can ask the question.
Okay.
Oh, they said they're speaking now. I can't hear a thing.
I can't hear it either.
Hold on one second. Are you? What phone number? Does yours start with a 404 or 256? 44. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna try to unmute you. Okay, you're unmuted. Can you speak now?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, there you are.
Okay. Greetings, everyone. I wanted to thank you for sharing all this information with us. It's very nutritious to the soul, to say the least. I did have a question that you mentioned something early on. I just had no understanding of it, understanding of it. I think you called some people orcs. I may not be saying that correctly. Can you kind of explain that and talk about why some people are called that and kind of go into that a little bit?
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Think about it like this. I think I said orbital. I don't think I said orc, but I'm going to go with orc because we can talk about that. Let's look at it like this. A lot of this stuff we know so we can kind of figure it out. If you think about what you're doing as a soul, first of all, you're a soul, you're not a body. You are a single point of dark matter, a black dot, so to speak. Let's say a drop of water in the ocean. Does not that drop, if the water in the ocean contain everything that the ocean has, all of the ocean? One drop of the ocean contains every ingredient that's in the ocean. So one drop or one dot of this dark matter contains everything that's in the dark matter. That's why it is infinite potential. So now we think about this black dot which really is the nucleus of a cell. Okay? Now, we look at as above, we can take the same model and look at this model as an orbital or a sphere or a planet that's revolving in the solar system. So now, if we got all these other planets around different places, and let's say, you know, we're going around, let's say this is us with a little dot. This is like a nucleus or a bigger cell or a central cell or a sun. Really a moon, because the sun don't have no power. The moon has more power. Or a source within the source, and that's what I'm about to explain too. So now, as this right here is making this movement throughout the galactic to make its way, let's say to make its way back home, so we can come here to make its way back home. Well, this one cell or this one orbital or sphere, you want to call it a planet, moon, star, all these things can be looked at this one thing. It made a path. Along the way, it's going to get influences by all of these other eggs or orbitals in its path. Well, let's say if we take another one, which was this one, we'll put a different mark in it. Let's say it takes a whole totally different path. To get back to where it started. Well, this one and this one, even though they are of similar nature, by them taking different paths around the galactic or around the sea or through its journey through, let's say, a human, you know, we all have been to different places in our lives, spent different times, and different, we have different influences. We have different parents. Well, the influence of the journey of this black dot going all around its microverse and making it back is going to have a different signature or different characteristics than this one. So this is how you can think about orc beings, or you can think about Andromedans, or you can think about grays, or you can think about any type of things that exist, as above, so below. In your microorganisms, just within your microbiology, everything in it ain't the same. Why? Mama Nature didn't want everything to be the same. Why she didn't want everything to be the same? So certain things can serve certain functions, different functions, or to give a variety of experience. So you see what I'm saying? So an orc, if this is the orc and this is a melanated being, all of it is still of creation. It just got different characteristics because of its journeys and how through its journey it's going to have a unique function about itself. And all of the other cells or whatever that splits off of this, let's say this is a mother cell, and you have all these other cells that image off of this. We're talking about imaging. This imaging normally takes place with 6 cells. You have a mother cell. This is called meiosis, not mitosis. Meiosis is the process that happens before spermatosis gets to it. This is the woman's egg. The original egg images itself 6 times, but it still has a nucleus cell right here. This is the master cell, that center. But all of these other cells is going to image just like it. Now that nucleus or that center cell, that's hidden. That's within you. That's the core. Here are all the other 6 that was imaged from this one. These are his babies. Or the original, because during meiosis, these are imaged exactly like this one. So actually these are like what we can consider like the daughters of Isis. They're image, they're exact copies of this master 7. This is what most noble Drew Ali will talk about, circle the 7. Or having 6 eggs called meiosis, not mitosis, 6 eggs gonna come off of here, image off this one. And this one right here now, it's gonna become like a shadow. You can't see it no more, but it exists. It's the nucleus of this system. So now, when you think about that, this will be what you're talking about, that orc. But it could be any kind of being. Because this is how it exists in stars. It's called alleles, too. Alleles or leaves. A petal. The flower of life. It's a petal. Because why? It petals out. From this center core, you're going to have 6 petals that's going to flower out from that center position. Just like a leaf. But each one of these are going to be originals. Then what happens in what we call mitosis, this is where the sperm comes in and adds chromosomes, and this one single egg right here will get impregnated, and this egg will create another egg, or create just the process of called mitosis. Now this splitting, but when it's split, it ain't going to split with all of the information of this one. It's going to be missing some stuff, or some things going to be dormant. That's what you call like dormant DNA. But when you get confused with squares and straight lines, and you start to think things in creation are made with squares and straight lines, no, only thing could be done with that. It's artificial, inorganic. We look, Mama Nature, look at your body. You can't find nothing straight on it. Everything's curved. There's no such thing as a straight line. Straight line is the illusion of what happens. All life is fake. There is no such thing as light. Light is what you call what happens when there's an ark, or what is called the Ark of the Covenant. It's really an ark. The Ark of the Covenant is an ark, and I'm going to explain it to you. That one black dot, if you go outside tonight and you look at that bright-ass star they call it Venus, I call it Taurus. This is the sign, the same sign when Christ came. The Christ energy came whenever it came before. All the same signs, and how Orion is lined up, how Sirius is lined up, and how Lyra and Vega is lined up. I watch it every night. I map the whole universe out. I got star maps in the ground. Because I got to see for myself. See, when we keep getting in these books and we keep relying on what people is teaching you, you're doing a very great disservice to your soul. Because your soul is the true teacher. All you got to do is ask it the question. Self, what's the answer to this? Send up the lesson for this. And then have faith, not belief. Belief, it tells your subconscious mind to leave be. Don't challenge it. Don't research it. Don't go deeper into it. Leave it be. That's what believe means. It's a fancy word for saying I don't know. Either you know or you don't. And the only way you're going to know something is through trial and error and experience, or the great mother of your soul spirit gives it to you directly. So now when you go and look up tonight, you go look at a star. You're going to notice that bright star. You're going to notice 2 little stars up under it, creating that triune. Now, always remember the process of mirroring, because mirroring is a part of creation. It creates a fractal, creates an energy point, a zero energy point. So when I mirror this right here, I'm getting this. Draw a little higher so it'll be more proportional. I'm getting this.
I'm sorry to interrupt. For those that can't see, if you're on a phone call, you'll be able to see his drawings later, so you can get a full understanding, overstanding, understanding, center standing of where he's coming from, and it'll be in the group chat later. I'm sorry to interrupt.
And so now, from this right here, what happens, how energy flows in that wind direction, like I'm telling you, is that when you go, you make that X, and you flow it like this, and you flow it like that. Now what that creates is what you call a torsion field. Taurus, torsion. Creates a V. a vagina, a vesica Pisces. Because what happens is, as energy is flowing this direction, and energy is flowing the opposite direction, no different than your hands rubbing together, it creates a friction. So I do the motion. Or straight up and down. What happens is I create heat or an arc because of the degree of this arch. The degree of this arch creates what they call the golden arches, McDonald's. You take these two curves and you put them like this, like a woman's legs, when she got them pulled up. You create this right here, this X, or this crossover point. That crossover point creates this black dot right here. That's called 0 point energy. The most efficient energy could ever be created in the multiverse. When these 2 points collide, these 2 frequency curves, these 2 arches, these 2 women, these 2 wings, just think about it in all the pictures in Kemet and everywhere, the 2 women and the wings. The arch of it, the curvature, is the secret. It ain't so much of a damn secret for beings like us. We can decode and take it back apart. Because why? We lost our memory. So now you gotta go back in and inverse the process to bring the goddess or the god back out. Because it's been hidden, it's been tucked within you. You haven't touched it and talked to it and tried to reach for it in so long. But trust me, when you start putting some focus on your core, your goddess in you, she'll come and meet you. She'll talk to you. She'll guide you. She will give you and share her gifts. So now, when you're here, when these 2 forces are coming together, this makes a spark. That spark look like this. Does that look familiar? Does that my battery getting low on my iPad, but does that look familiar? That look like a man on a cross, a woman on a cross. That look like that 8-pointed star you're gonna see when it's so bright in the air. But what really is happening is the black dot that's in the center, the one that's over here, and the one that's over here, and the one that's over here, and the one that's over here that you call them stars are just interacting with each other, causing this illusion that you call light. Spontaneous combustion, the same thing is going on right here in between your head. And that's how you see. And that's how you process reality. And in all reality, none of this is really happening. It's just energy. It's a motion camera. Pixels. Your body is an organic machine. It ain't you. It's an avatar. Do you think beings such as us that can create all this shit from scratch would risk losing all of this from something that you would call death or mutilation or somebody interrogating or tearing me apart? You think we're that simple? No. Layers upon layers upon layers upon layers of existence are you. Not one thing. Millions of things. Acting as one. Millions of beings and gods and goddesses acting all together in one suit with one central commander called the goddess, the matriarch, all that shit in order, acting as one. And ain't no one thing. Nothing stands alone. You hit one note on the piano called an A. It ain't no damn A. That's a trillion different frequencies just resonating high at one point that you call it the note A. But it's every frequency that ever existed in that one note. And when you hit the note B, it's the resonant frequency that is standing out the most is what you call it B. But it has every note that ever could exist within that one hit. So this thing you calling a body that's standing up, it's billions and trillions of forces working together within this thing, working together because it ain't no human. It don't think simple. It ain't got to do all this figuring out what it is and what it's supposed to do. No, if that's the case, we be walking around like that right now, dumb as we is. Melanin knows what it is. It knows how to assimilate and make a bone or make a couch. You understand what I'm saying? Anybody got another question?
Okay, she's back on mute. Hold on one second.
Greetings. Thank you. That's my only question.
Okay. Well, if anybody any questions, go ahead and get it in. I got about 7% left on my iPad, so I don't want to go dead on in the middle of something. But anybody got other questions? If not, we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna put it on there, and we're gonna go to the next one. And it's going to depends on how deep people want to go and what angles you want to go, because it doesn't make any sense for you to go past this if you don't truly understand it. If you don't understand how to be in the center and that you are a center being, you're not a right being. And how to get out of duality by choosing a side. You don't have to choose a side. Be Mayat, be in the middle, be neutral. You could do both or neither. But just know if I pick one side, the other side still exists. And know that I can lean towards the other side and counterbalance to straighten myself out. That's how you use the technology. You use it by counterbalancing. Find the opposite of something. Whatever's agitating you. If it's love, you got too much of it, maybe you're too loving. You need to put some hate in you. Not so that you can be a hateful person, no, so they can balance your energy out. You're too soft. Now people taking advantage of you. You don't know how to say no. Well, it takes a little opposite energy to get you balanced in that specific area. It works like that for everything. This is really not that hard. That's the beauty of knowing anything about the trivium or the Trinity. But take it always a step further. Always know that if I got three elements, if I got a positive, I got a negative, a neutral point has to be there. It has to exist in the center. And always know that there's a force all around that that's holding it all together. So anytime you think it's a trivium, it's actually four. You're missing the center dot. So when you talk about the 5, it's not really the 5, it's the 6. What I mean by that? Just like I'm talking about the Star of David. Some people want to call it the Merkaba, whatever name you want to call it. But if you think about it, it's just a triangle. Hold on. It's just this. And then you have that. Okay? When you think about it, you got, most people say, oh, this is the 6. No, it's not. This is the 7. You don't see the nucleus. That's the shadow. That's in the Kabbalah where they say the dark or what's behind it. That's so there's 7 points to that. So the 6 is really the 7. which is really the 13, which is the Christ. Because now you've understood that in order for this whole thing to work, it needs a source of energy, a center point, a nucleus, a core, Ra, radius. The key, looking through the eye, the iris of Ra. I'm giving you the science. Why they call me Ra? Because I understand I ain't got no power. There's a center dot. There's a soul. There's a goddess. There's a center point, a black dot, that's really giving me my power. I'm like a light bulb up here, a light. Light bulb ain't shit. It ain't the light bulb. You need a light bulb all day. You need electricity or L and magnetism, L and mom. You need that to light that light bulb up. It's the electricity behind the light bulb that's the badass, not the light bulb. That's why I say the sun ain't shit. The sun ain't got no power. There's something behind the sun called a goddamn moon. A moon Ra, the hidden sun, that's powering this sun and giving it light. But it ain't outside of itself. It's in the core. It's in the center. It's in the radius. It's in the rocks. In the eye. Not this eye. That eye down there. The one that can produce a baby. The one that you can send power up. All kind of directions. That one. That core. When you start doing shit like this. Because I'm operating from my core. God power. Coming from what? The core. The leaf. That's why you see the Bali dancers all the time. Doing shit like that. Like that. Because that's power. Why? Because I ain't having to move my arm. My hips is making them move. So I ain't wasting no energy. I can do this all day. And take that hit somebody. Knock their whole head off. That's Bruce Lee, the hidden punch. Why was it so powerful? It came from his core, from his hips. Like that. Now you hit somebody like that, they might go 10 feet. Why? Because you know what you're doing. You know how to bring energy from your core. Anybody got anything?
If so, star 6 right quick or unmute yourself. If not, we'll just continue the next time.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Let me say this. I want to say this before you did an amazing job. I mean, you blew me out the water. You did an amazing job. Me and one of the empresses was just talking to each other about it, and I just appreciate you coming on and sharing this information with the people, and I just want to say that to you. So high honors to our brother Ra-N-Ell, and thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And I just want to say all praises due to you for having me, Mother Goddess. All praises to all the goddesses. And when y'all need me, I'm available. I'm not here for nobody's money. I don't want no money. I don't want no classes. I don't want no attention. This ain't even my time. I've had my time. I'm Ra. I've been around the whole multiverse and I'm back. But my mama told me, boy, it's time for you to sit down. It's time for my time to get back on the crown. So I came to put mama back on the crown, not me. So my mama is the black woman. The melanated, the true one. Not the one who gonna leave their kids and not handle their responsibility. I'm talking about the one that got the love. That's who I came to help. Nobody else, not even myself. So with that, I am Ra. I'm out.
Peace and love, family. You could press to stop the recording, and then we'll post it once it's over.